Let me introduce you to Patsy. She is 11 years old, has a dog named Cloudy, and a best friend called Chloe. In a few minutes, Patsy will be an accessory to murder. But where did it all begin?
If you wanna have to leave your home, just mess with a bottle of corn. You gotta make it to the woods if you can. If you can, if you can, you gotta make it to the woods if you can.
The first year of high school was a bad time for me. Fortunately, a show called The Tribe aired after school, which was just as bleak as I felt. In case you've never heard of it, The Tribe is a post-apocalyptic series aimed at young viewers. It's the story of kids living in the wake of a virus which has wiped out the adult population. The heart of the show is the Mallrats, a tribe of underdogs surviving in an abandoned shopping mall. In Season 2, the Mallrats are taken over by a cult. But what exactly is a cult? What kind of person joins one, and how do cults use language to take us over? Let's look into the future and find out. A cult is a group which goes against mainstream culture. Unlike, say, your local book club, a cult finds and keeps its members through coercion, manipulation, and abuse. In The Tribe, we meet a cult called The Chosen, or as I like to call them, the Beekeepers. They worship Zoot, a boy who had a mental breakdown after the apocalypse and terrorized the city. Zoot dies in Season 1, just after becoming a dad. His ex-girlfriend Trudy is one of the Mallrats. In Season 2, Trudy and her daughter Brady are kidnapped by the Chosen and their leader, the Guardian, a complicated and interesting villain who was loosely inspired by the Master in Doctor Who. So, why do cults like the Chosen exist? Cults happen where there is inequality, a breakdown in morality, or rapid changes in technology. So basically, the 2020s. In The Tribe, the Chosen crop up at a controversial time. The Mallrats have just discovered a cure for the virus and become the most powerful tribe in the city. But because they're teenagers who can't even cook a tin of baked beans, they don't know how to run the city. The Mallrats abuse their power, exploit other tribes, and generally make a huge mess. Bring on the Chosen. What kind of person joins a cult? People who join cults need something. It might be meaning, identity, or belonging. Cult members have often also been through a personal crisis. This brings us back to Patsy. Things haven't been great for this little kid over the past few years. Last year, she came upstairs to find her parents dead. Her brother disappeared, her pet Labrador Bob was poisoned, and a few months ago, Patsy lost Trudy's baby daughter to the Chosen while Patsy was supposed to be babysitting her. Days later, Brady's mother Trudy was kidnapped too. Patsy is lost. She's desperate for love and guidance. Instead, she's surrounded by teenagers who can barely take care of themselves.
You know what my birthday wish was? I wish that my mommy and daddy would come back and tell us what to do. It'll come true, you'll see.
Then something wonderful happens. Trudy escapes her kidnappers and returns with Brady. But all is not as it seems. Trudy has come back to spy for the Chosen. They plan to take over the city, but they can't do it alone. To help, Trudy needs to convert one of her tribe mates. How does she do this? Let's go through it step by step. Trudy wants to convert Patsy to her extremist views. But first, she must separate Patsy from anyone who might question those views. Patsy's best friend Chloe isn't cult material. Chloe is too independent and she questions Trudy's decisions. Trudy needs to get rid of Chloe. So, what does she do? Trudy starts by giving Patsy preferential treatment. She also undermines and bullies Chloe.
I've got a present for you from Trudy.
Chloe feels alienated. Patsy starts to feel special. For someone in Patsy's situation, it's a powerful and addictive feeling. Slowly, Patsy also starts to believe that she is superior to Chloe. The tribe uses wardrobe choices to show the girls drifting apart. Normally, Patsy and Chloe have parallel tribe styles in the series. Both have lines running across their faces. Both wear their hair in bunches. Both have blue and red motifs in their outfits. Then, Trudy dresses Patsy differently. Patsy now wears black and white. Her dress reminds us of the Guardian, who also wears similar colours. Black and white is also used to show the struggle between good and evil. Right now, Patsy is on the cusp of becoming evil. Her dress also has this tinge of red, a colour used to symbolise war and religious devotion. Spanish Inquisition, anyone?
Nobody expects the Spanish Inquisition!
Her hair is no longer in bunches but in plaits. In some cultures, plaits are a sign of order and unity, but Patsy's plaits are really tight, like her thoughts have been tightly ordered, restricted even, so that she can be one with Trudy. Patsy's outfit makes a statement. I am no longer part of this duo. The band is breaking up, and it only gets worse from here. Now that Patsy is on her own, Trudy can go to stage 2, love bombing. In this scene, Trudy showers Patsy with affection and gives her another makeover. If Patsy feels loved, she'll be easier to manipulate. Joining a cult can fill a hole in someone's life by giving them an identity, something to belong to. Trudy has dressed Patsy as a queen. Let's look at Patsy's new outfit. We've now moved to plain black. The darkness in Patsy is obviously winning over. Black can also represent power. Like the tiara on Patsy's head, it gives Patsy something that has been lacking ever since the virus, and that is empowerment. Before, things just happened to her. Now, Patsy feels like she has some control. As Trudy says,
but some of us make the rules, and others obey them. If you're one of the ones calling the shots, you can do whatever you like.
a key part of cult language is us and them. We humans divide ourselves into groups and give ourselves labels because it gives us a sense of identity. I can know who I am by knowing who I'm not. It also means sometimes we stop seeing outsiders as human, and we feel less bad about harming them. Trudy's line, "Some of us make the rules and some of us obey them," sends Patsy an important message. Patsy isn't alone anymore. She belongs to a powerful in-group. But just how loving is Patsy's new family? You might be wondering, what's happened to Patsy's old friend Chloe? Well, she's still here, and still trying to convince the tribe that something's up with Trudy. Obviously, Trudy needs to shut her down. In this scene, we see Trudy try the same tricks on Chloe that she used on Patsy, starting with love bombing. She brings Chloe a tasty snack, fondles Chloe's hair, and says that she just wants to be friends. Unfortunately, Chloe isn't buying.
You think no one else sees it, Trudy, but I do. And the others will too.
As we said before, cults don't just use love to bring in members, they use abuse. Trudy grabs Chloe by the shoulders, telling her things are going to be very different soon. When it all changes, there will be two types of people, the ones who belong and the others who are left outside with nowhere to go.
You don't want to be left on the outside, do you, Chloe?
This is called coercive persuasion, where a cult makes someone join by convincing them that life outside the cult is dangerous. Once again, we see this us and them language from Trudy to emphasize the dangers of being outside the chosen. Chloe is even framed standing near a picture of a skeleton, a cool omen of what's to come. We now know that the stakes are high for Chloe, but they're even higher for Patsy, who is on the inside looking out. Let's check back in with her. It It's been a few weeks, and Patsy's having doubts. The things Trudy says about the Chosen aren't adding up. Trudy's been angrier lately, and Patsy wishes she could go back to Chloe. Then, on the day of their tribe mate's wedding, Trudy asks Patsy to go somewhere with an important message. Patsy, understandably, wants to know why, but...
Why?
Why? Haven't you learnt yet not to ask why? Do it!
As we've learned, critical thinking and cults do not mix. Patsy must obey without question. So, off Patsy goes. She visits Ebony, tells her that the Chosen have taken over the city, and leads Ebony to the docks. Here, Ebony is knocked down by a Chosen van into the sea. Don't worry, she's fine. Unluckily for the Chosen, Ebony is the only character in this show who owns a swimming pool. Patsy is distraught and realizes that Trudy set her up. Notice we're back to the black and white dress. Patsy is once again wrestling with good and evil. The crown on her head is askew. She no longer feels powerful, just scared. Clearly, some brainwashing is needed. Trudy tells Patsy that Ebony's murder was Zoot's will. Sound familiar? Well, cults often use language from socially accepted belief systems to legitimize their own. By using words from the Bible, Trudy makes murder sound like a religious doctrine. Cults also reinterpret history. A year ago, Zoot was a teenager taking his pain out on others. But in Trudy's hands, Zoot is a god. Notice also that when Patsy's telling her story, she uses words like kill and dead. Trudy just says, Ebony's gone. Cults use these gentler phrases for death, called euphemisms, to make death sound like a good thing, nothing to feel guilty about. Trudy gets Patsy to recite Zoot's 4 wishes.
To live in his followers, to destroy his enemies, to bring power and chaos, and to free us from tomorrow.
This is what you might call an invented tradition. We do lots of things just because they're traditional. Why do we put Christmas trees up? Why do we have cake on birthdays? Who knows? It's tradition. So when a cult says something is tradition, you're more likely to just accept it. Finally, Trudy says,
We don't have to worry about right and wrong anymore. Zoot decides for us.
This, my friends, is a cliche against reasoning, which is a fancy way of saying it's a phrase used by cults to defend their extreme beliefs against rational ones. You might hear a cult leader say, don't believe those who are ruled by fear, which really means don't believe anyone who questions our beliefs, no matter how dangerous those beliefs actually are. Trudy teaches Patsy that obeying without thinking isn't dangerous or wrong. It's a form of liberation. But will Patsy believe it? Chloe misses her friend. She knows Patsy is being manipulated, but she can't get through to Patsy. If you've ever seen a loved one lose themselves in an abusive relationship, this is painfully familiar. So, how do you help someone who has been converted? According to the experts, you take your loved one out on their own and talk to them about the cult. Ask them questions, show interest, and without being judgmental, point out anything weird or shady about the things they share with you. Like, isn't it interesting that this group promises freedom, but then tells you how you have to behave? We see Chloe try this loads of times. Being only 12, she struggles to be objective, and to Patsy, she just seems spiteful. After Ebony's attempted murder, though, Patsy needs help. Her defenses are down, and Chloe can finally get through. And I love the way she does this. Because Chloe doesn't talk anymore about cults or Trudy. She focuses on their friendship and how much Patsy still means to her.
I'm your friend. I miss you. Now you're in trouble, I know you are. And whether you like it or not, I'm not going away until you tell me what's wrong.
And Patsy's been carrying a hole in her heart where her family used to be. And for a little while, she thought she could fill it with empty promises of power and paradise. Chloe can't fix all the problems that they're facing in this post-apocalyptic world, but she can be by Patsy's side no matter what comes their way. Though the tribe is 2 decades old, it still has a huge fan base. I'd say one reason is its uniqueness. Children's media often use schools as a mini-society, because here they can explore big social concepts in a small kid-friendly setting. Take, for example, the 5th Harry Potter book, or Roald Dahl's Matilda, which both talk about fascism through evil teachers like Professor Umbridge or Miss Trunchbull. The tribe ups the ante by getting rid of adults altogether, so you get wonderful stories like Patsy's which are entirely child-led. The tribe was there for me at a dark time in my life, and unlike other shows, it didn't talk down to me. The show acknowledges that, yes, the world can be tough sometimes, but though humans suffer, we don't have to suffer alone. Thanks for watching Lingua Anomaly. Don't forget that overthinking is a superpower, and there is beauty in the way that you think. Keep the dream alive, tribe fans. Black and white is also used to show the struggle between good and evil. Between? What are you talking about? The brand. Oh my god, wake up. Did I just say glabs? Oh dear.